What's bracking, guys? So in this video, I just gave you some of my thoughts and reactions after that very interesting win by the United States men's national team over the Dutch. But of course, a 4-3 victory is very interesting at the end. But I definitely think there were a lot of problems defensively throughout that matchup. John Brooks, he just has some terrible positioning at times, but I think that is a big problem in his game. I actually enjoyed Ventura Alvarado, of course. He thought he looked pretty well, pretty good there at center back next to him, but of course Brooks was just always out of position. But something he really needs to fix up for himself, because as a young center back, he seems to always kind of lose his composure, get caught out of position. That's just something you cannot have if you want to be a top level center back. But of course, hopefully he can address that going into the next game. Of course, he was able to grab himself a goal due to his the way he can maraud forward at times, which of course puts the back line at a disadvantage. But either way, definitely a problem I think needs to be addressed. May have to go back and look at Beasler and Gonzalez, maybe Jeff Cameron in the middle. I think, of course, we probably would be leaning towards Beasler and Gonzalez. I know Cameron actually has a knock right now, but so may have to go back to that partnership, even though I think Brooks and Orozco or Alvarado had quite a bit, honestly, with they're pretty good technically. I'd say they're about the same or maybe better than Beasler and Gonzalez in that aspect, especially Brooks. I think he's very solid technically, but of course his problems are always his positioning, mental lapses. But either way, we may have to go back to that in my opinion. But I did enjoy Shea moving forward. Of course, he had a good chance on goal early in the matchup, but just was not able to finish that one on the key. Just did not put enough power on that one, But I think Chandler looked very promising at times. It was exciting seeing him, but the midfield was pretty strong. Beckerman looked very solid there. Morales had put a decent effort in. I thought he's been pretty consistent lately. And Bradley, of course, with that tremendous run at the end, I thought he was a bit spotty at times, but he really came up big, of course, when he was needed. But of course, Zardes got himself his first goal. Interesting to see, because sometimes I don't always see him as a maybe international level striker, in my opinion, because his first touch is pretty terrible at times, but when he gets that on point, he can be very dangerous. He was not very good against Mexico, against what was essentially a B or C team of Mexico, and that's where I kind of thought maybe he wouldn't be in the picture for this friendly, but he was, and he was able to grab a goal, and he was in a few good spots to maybe grab a couple of more goals. But of course, I think he adds a lot of defensively, has a nice little work rate to him, and can definitely play out in the wings. But he's not the best technically, as he did scuff a huge chance. I remember he had Aaron Johansson and Bradley in the middle, just a terrible pass. He could have set both of them through basically. But with that, I think he has ability as more of a we're just going to fling the ball over the top, essentially, have him chase the ball down, add that type of game, add a little bit, use his speed defensively to help sure things up. I think he might be more of a late game sub, would be his cap with the team, but of course he showed pretty well. And of course, Johansson, I think, did a very good job holding up play. He should have probably had a goal as well when Fabian Johnson, he had a chance on goal after Bradley hit the post, but he should have let it run through to Johansson. Johansson probably would have scored that, but either way, I thought he was pretty solid overall. But very good performances in some very spotty ones as well. But of course, these subs were so impactful, as you can see. Jordan Morris, who had the game-winning assist, Bobby Wood had the game-winning goal. Of course, Yedlin, which is storming down the wing. Because of that, I really think Yedlin, I think he's his best spot, honestly, for both club international level, maybe right mid, right winger, just higher up the pitch, has that opportunity. And I think it would be very interesting to see him given that opportunity, with having Timothy Chandler on the right overlapping, and of course if you have Shea and Fabian Johnson on the other side overlapping, that could cause a lot of problems for a lot of teams down the wing. Even some very good teams would have a lot of trouble dealing with that pace and strong tackle ability. Because I think Yedlin has grown so much as far as his crossing goes, and it's great to see. But yeah, it was great stuff overall from the team. I really enjoyed this performance. So I would love to see more of Yedlin out on the wing. I would like to see a 4-4-2 variant, or like a 4-2-3-1, especially in the Gold Cup. I think it would be interesting to see Dempsey and Johansson up top, or Altidore if he's able to get fit enough. And then have Fabian Johnson at the left mid, and then you can have of course behind him Shea, or maybe in Greg Garza if he finds himself back in the picture. And of course, there was Danny Williams, who was able to grab the game tying goal, the equalizer. But I definitely think people seem to think of him as a defensive midfielder, but I actually see a lot more box-to-box qualities in him, similar to Jermaine Jones, where people would think of him as a defensive midfielder, but he just does not. His best role, of course, was playing that box-to-box role in the World Cup, and of course, you've seen it with his club team as well, the New England Revolution, but definitely interesting to see how the midfield pans out. But I think Bradley and Beckerman would be great there if Jones can't get fit, especially, but would be a bit difficult if Jones is fit in time. You know, definitely a lot of decisions for Klinsmann to make coming up. Of course, Guzan had a great game. Definitely thought Raimondo could have pushed him a little bit further if he wasn't able to, you know, Guzan wasn't able to bounce back from being benched recently, so great to see him have a huge game. Could have some big point-blank saves. You know, game could have been just ridiculous. Probably, you know, more than 5 goals each. If both teams would have capitalized on their chances. But either way, it's basically gonna sum my thoughts here. I know I talked a lot, but of course I'm a big fan, and so if you are interested in these reactions and would like to hear more, I'll definitely, you know, keep them coming for you guys. But I love you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll catch you guys later.